I'm here with the just updated Mazda 6, and the question I'm driven to ask is, do European brands really have a stranglehold on premium? Well, this slick Japanese wagon that you see here is one of the best arguments I can think of against this widely held perception. Let's find out why.
The Mazda 6 is the best-selling imported mid-sized car under $60,000, and it's easy to see why. Despite the design now being a few years old, it remains an especially handsome model in both sedan and wagon form.
The stylistic changes for MY17 are relatively minor. There are some tweaks to the front and to the rear, and there's also a new set of mirrors. Nevertheless, the Mazda 6 remains one of the sharpest looking wagons you can buy, with that dynamic front, the curvaceous side flanks, the low squat profile, and this is especially true on our tested GT with its 19-inch rims. But it's inside the car where the Mazda 6 really stamps its premium credentials. The variant we're testing here is the GT, which is the second from top in the range, below only the Atenza. It costs $43,990 plus on-road costs, and like a lot of mid-sized cars in the class, it comes absolutely loaded with equipment. Our tester features sat-nav operated on a touchscreen, climate control air, heated leather seats, a heads-up display, and great safety equipment including blind spot monitoring. But it's the layout of the car that really stamps Mazda's premium credentials. The material quality is fantastic, and these contrasting plastic trims look very upmarket indeed. The whole layout really does strike me as European, especially with the BMW aping MZD Connect toggle operated system and the floating tablet screen. And the Atenza adds to this by featuring extras such as Napa leather seats with piping and radar guided cruise. Honestly, put a layman in this car, cover up that badge, and you'd mistake it for a car twice the price. We kid you not. If there's one area where Mazda isn't always a class leader, it's rear seat packaging. But while rivals like the Ford Mondeo probably do offer a little more space in the back, it's hard to complain too much about the Mazda 6. I'm well over 6 feet tall and I've got plenty of room back here. I think headspace is probably the only concern, and that's mostly because of the sunroof. The amenities here are also fantastic. The leather seats are well bolstered and beautifully trimmed, and they have their own set of heating, which is fantastic in winter. Other amenities are good too. You get your own set of air vents, overhead grab handles with a hook for your coat, reading lights, and ISOFIX anchors for your child seats.
The Mazda 6 isn't quite as massive as some segment rivals in the cargo space, but the long loading floor and the boot that expands from 506 litres to 1648 litres is still superior to many similarly priced SUVs. So far so good then. But does the Mazda 6 drive like a luxury car? Mazda has added the G-vectoring system that recently premiered on the smaller 3. This system briefly reduces torque delivery to the front tyres when you turn the steering wheel, making turning even sharper and your cornering that much neater.
The Mazda 6 has always been one of the more fun to drive cars in its class, with good sharp turning, plenty of steering resistance, and a firm but never uncomfortable ride with really good spring and damper tune, particularly on the rebound. You'll just love pointing the 6 at your favourite twisty section of road. The only complaint we can come up with so far is a little bit of kickback and vibration through the steering wheel if you hit a bump mid-corner, and that's something we've noticed on a couple of Mazdas over the years. Another really impressive thing about the 6 is the way it rides around town. Our test car is on 19-inch wheels on low-profile tyres. Nevertheless, it rounds off sharp inputs really well and is surprisingly comfortable, and actually fairly quiet as well. Not always a Mazda strength, and it may not be quite as good in terms of NVH as a Volkswagen Passat, but it's certainly much more livable than previous iterations were. Under the bonnet is a 2.5-litre naturally aspirated engine from its high-compression Skyactiv family. It produces 138 kilowatts of power and 250 Newton-meters of torque, and is matched as standard to a 6-speed automatic transmission with a torque converter, and all variants in the Mazda 6 family are front-wheel drive. It's a decent engine, it's got plenty of response and pickup and a fair bit of urgency around town, though the NVH on cold starts isn't great, and that does detract a bit from the whole premium feel that we're talking about. I can't help but feel that the chassis could also handle a bit more torque. The CX-9's 2.5-litre turbo engine with 170 kilowatt would be a fantastic addition to the 6, and I hope Mazda does that at some point in the future. If you want a little bit more punch, you can opt for the $3,000 more expensive diesel engine with a whopping 420 Newton meters of torque that gives you that little bit extra low-down punch that you might be looking for. Depends on your budget, but I reckon it's worth stretching if you can. So there you have it, one of the sharpest wagons you can buy, if not the most capacious. If you're after a luxury car without the luxury price tag, well worth a look.